Hello there, welcome to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. My name is Theary and I am so excited to share a card that I created using the adorable Every Piece of Me stamp set. So let's get started. Okay, so to begin my card, I am going to create the background first. So I am going in with the checkered background stencil and the checkered background add-on stripes. And I really like this combination because you can use it separately, but it works so much better when you pair it with a lot of the add-ons that we have in the shop. I am going to start off with white colored cardstock and I'm taping it onto my magnetic workstation. And I'm selecting one of the stencils. So I'm going in with the checkered background stencil first, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want it to align with my card panel. And once I figure that out, I use my magnets to put that in place. Then going in with Captain Puller ink in the color Rouge and using my red blending buddy, I am going in and just blending the ink onto the open spaces of the stencil. You can pretty much use any color ink that you have on hand. This was just the closest one that I had within reach. And once I was happy with the blending, I went ahead and removed my magnets and removed the stencil. And you can see how awesome this looks. It has very clean edges. So now going in with the second stencil, and this is the checkered background add-on in stripes, and I'm aligning it onto the squares on my card panel just to make sure I know exactly where I'm going to ink blend. And once I was happy with the placement, I placed my magnets on, and I'm going in with my blending buddy and using terracotta ink. And after the blending was completed, I went ahead and trimmed down my card panel. I am trimming it down to 4 inches by 5¼ inches. Okay, so let's talk about this adorable stamp set. It's a smaller stamp set, but it's super cute. I feel like you could do a lot of things with it. I'm going to start off by stamping the image, the pizza image, onto white colored cardstock. This cardstock that I'm using is alcohol friendly, and I'm using an ink that's alcohol friendly as well. And I like making sure that my ink and my paper are coordinating well with the color medium that I'm using to prevent smearing. I went ahead and also rotated my cardstock over to get a second impression of the pizza stamp. And now for the coloring part. I kept the coloring on my pizza hearts pretty simple and traditional. I am using my Copic markers here, and I'm going in with a tan color for the crust. I'm going in with red for the pepperonis and yellow for the cheese. Okay, so now using the coordinating dies, I am going to run that through my die cutting machine. The great thing about the coordinating dies is it comes with 2 sizes of the hearts. So here I'm just showing you an example. You could either cut it with the white border around the edges, or you could cut it really close to the crust. And this is how it looks like. So you have a lot of options using the stamp set along with the coordinating dies. I think the pizza hearts are just so adorable. So after I finish cutting everything out, I am going to add a little detail. And I love using my white gel pen to do that. So going in with my white gel pen, I am adding highlights throughout the pizza images. Okay, so to add a little more interest to the overall design, I am going in with the dainty scallop circle die, and I'm cutting that out of vellum. I am going to put that aside to use for later. Okay, so now going back in with our checkered background that we created earlier, I'm putting that into my mini MISTI, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment down using black ink towards the bottom of the card panel. I also splattered gold paint onto the checkered background, but for some reason I lost the footage of that. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, so initially I wanted to stamp the sentiment on here, But after I stamped it, I realized it kind of got lost behind a checkered background. So you'll see how I fixed that later on in this video. Okay, so now to put everything together. I just put a little dab of glue on the center of our dainty scallop circle and placed that onto our card panel. Then going in with foam squares, I applied that onto the back of the pizza heart and I adhere that on top of the dainty scallop circle. I then went ahead and grabbed black cardstock and I'm trimming it slightly larger than my card panel. I am using this black cardstock as a mat against my card panel. Okay, so here is where I decided I wanted to cover up the sentiment. So I'm going in with red cardstock that I trimmed to fit the bottom portion of my card panel. Before I adhere it to the card panel, I am going to stamp the sentiment out onto the red cardstock with black colored ink. I did have to stamp it out a few times to make sure I got a good impression. Okay, and then I went ahead and adhered it to the front of our card panel. I used liquid adhesive to adhere it into place. I also adhered a strip of black cardstock between the two. And I used my scissors to snip off the ends. And of course, to add the finishing details, I like to use a white gel pen to add highlights onto the word loves. And finally, I adhered it to a top folding card base in white. And that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found some inspiration and get crafty in your craft space. And we would love it if you gave us some love by hitting the thumbs up button, leaving a comment, or subscribing to our channel. And you'll get notified for any future videos. Okay, until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.